Kevin Bohannon joining us. He's at HawgSports.com, 247 Sports, covers college baseball, high school baseball at the Democrat Gazette. K-Bo, glad you're feeling better. How you doing today?
Hey, doing a lot better, Phil. A lot better than I was 3 days ago.
Good, yeah. You, man, you're doing two things at once. You're covering media days and college football coming up, and then digging heavily into the draft and its effect on Arkansas baseball, which we won't fully really know for another 10 days, but you still pretty much go by the idea if you're drafted, you sign. But I'm thinking there's one Razorback signee that's not signing. He got drafted in the 20th round.
Yeah, Landon Schaefer made it known. As soon as Monday got here, and of course rounds 1 through 3 were on Sunday. First 105 picks on Sunday, and then Monday got here. I started to feel a little bit better about Schaefer making it to campus. He was number 71 overall by perfect game, number 125 on MLB Pipeline. Hey, just give me a heads up when you know what's going on. And after the 4th round, I got a couple of texts from some people that I really trust and know. They said, don't use my name, but Schaefer's going to school. And about 5 minutes later, Landon sent me a text. So that was good to hear. And, teams take flyers on kids all the time. Gabe Gackle had it done. Mason Neville had it done. So they want to keep an eye on those guys and keep them in mind for the future.
Was there anybody that was drafted by the team that you think can really have, I don't know if the word would be damaging effect or negative effect, but which one of the guys that maybe they were hoping didn't get drafted that did affects the team more so next year?
You're talking about guys that did get drafted that probably won't be there next year?
Right. I'm thinking of just like draft eligible guys. Like you think of so Zach Root, well, he had another year, but if he gets drafted as a junior, well, he's going to go into the draft. You're thinking like a guy like Jimenez maybe, or Justin Thomas, who you thought maybe he's coming back.
Okay, so I had them separated into two groups, guys that were most likely to get drafted and are out the door. I had JT in that group. There were 8 guys. The ones that I had in the other group were Coyle, Bybee, and Jimenez. Those were the ones that I weren't sure of. I put Jimenez and Dylan Grego in the same group now with the question you just asked, because Grego I thought could be the starting shortstop. He got drafted in the 13th round by the Padres. He's not gonna be at the University of Arkansas. I think he wants to start his pro career. Then I thought Jimenez could be that veteran presence on the staff that really kind of needed it next year, especially since Jackson Wells signed a undrafted free agent deal with Houston. It was just going to be kind of that cornerstone, even though that Gackle's going to be a junior and you got Colin Fisher that's going to be a junior. I think you needed one of those older guys that they had a ton of this year. I don't think anybody at the end of the season they noticed it, but that was a veteran pitching staff that Matt Hobbs had this year, and it was, the draft showed it.
Is there anybody that they've brought out of the draft, out of the portal right now? And I forget the name of the kid who came in from Oregon State. That you view as a potential starting pitcher for this next year? Or do you think McIlvain, Kircher, and the kid out of Oregon State are more destined for the bullpen?
Yeah, I do think they're destined for the bullpen. I think McIlvain has some command issues that he has to overcome. They will give him every chance to start because of the stuff. Lefties that throw 96, 97 don't come along every day. So Vandy saw a lot in him. There's been a lot of draft buzz about him. So Matt Hobbs is going to get his hands on him, getting in the pitching lab, get him on that Newt Force mound, and he's going to figure out a lot with his mechanics and his delivery right away. So I think he is the best shot to do it. Kircher can start. He has started in his career. He did in high school. So he has some, he's got the build. He's 6'4", 220. He has the durability. He has the frame for it. It's just a matter of, experience at this point. So I think he's more apt to be a closer. He's a kid that's going to touch triple digits. So, and James DeCramer was the guy from Oregon State that they picked up on draft night after Jackson Wells signed his free agent deal. He's only a redshirt sophomore. He made 3 starts for Oregon State, has been up to 96. So there's some good stuff to work with there. Good slider. He was I think he was number 105 in the 2023 class by perfect game. So, high prospect, but just unproven commodity at this point.
Were you surprised Vahiva slid to number 31? Was it the swing and miss? And who do you think at shortstop next year for the Hogs?
I wasn't so surprised. I figured he wouldn't get past Cleveland at 27. And here's my reasoning. I don't think he stays at shortstop. I think he's too top heavy. He's too upper body. He's got too much upper body strength. They like the Rock Kowalskis and even Avar Kett from Oregon State, who was 6'5", 220, doesn't move like a kid that's 6'5", 220. So I think Vahiva shifts to third eventually in pro ball. A few of the scouts that I talked to in the National League agreed with that. And then the swing and miss stuff in the zone. If Vahiva goes back to the first of the year when he was hitting balls out to right field, go back and think of Globe Life where he hit a couple out to right field, one against Kansas State that came to mind. He can hit at the next level if he continues to do that. Stay that middle right approach. He has the bat speed and the strength to pull anything out of the park with a wood bat. He just has to stay on that outside pitch, have better discipline on the outside third. That caused him to slide just a little bit. And even though his defensive abilities got better as the year went along, his career went along, only 5 errors this year, I think they project him more at third. And this was a shortstop-heavy draft, as you saw, Phil. So many high school guys, so many college guys. It was just where he was at in the pecking order. As for shortstop this next year, I think it all depends on how healthy Nolan Souza is. If he comes back and is able to make all the throws, I think he could be your shortstop. If not, I think they give T.J. Pompey, who came in from Texas Tech, he's the next one on the list that could get a shot.
So then where does Schaefer fit in for next year? Can he come in and play? Because he's got 3 years. I think he'll be 3 years at Arkansas, but does he have an impact that first year? It doesn't have to be at shortstop, but maybe it could be.
Absolutely. I think he could play third base. He's got a strong arm. I don't think he stays in the middle long term. 6'3", 195. He moves well, but he's not really that quick twitch guy in the middle like Coach Van Horn likes. Think of Casey Martin. Think of Robert Moore. Even Souza and Aloy are really quick twitch guys. So, plus, putting a freshman in the SEC, that's a little against – I think that's a little outside of Coach Van Horn's comfort zone at this point. Now, if he comes in and proves that he can do it, absolutely, he can get that shot. So I think there'll be a little open competition right there, and they'll have their mind made up. But I do think there'll be a veteran guy that's served at least a little bit of time there so far.
So I've been following this a little bit because I've got friends who are Phillies fans, and they're all fired. They are fired up about Gage Wood. Like they feel they hit the jackpot with Gage Wood, and maybe they did. And I just love the organization that he's with, because that's a team and an organization that does what they can to win. They're not afraid about promoting pitchers. And I think Gage could end up getting to the big leagues quickly. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Gage Wood that struck out 19 racers and threw a no-hitter, but anything close to that, and I think he can get big leaguers out.
That's exactly right. So once you get drafted, there are tools that get you to the point to where you are. Now it's about tweaking the things that you call opportunities. Okay, so for opportunities for Gage, it's developing the changeup, developing that third pitch. We already know he has that overhead hammer curveball that averaged 83 miles per hour. The average curveball in the show today is 80 miles per hour. So he can maintain the velocity and depth on that pitch. So you got 2 good pitches. That's good enough for the bullpen right now for Philadelphia. And there were some scouts, and I know they talked about it on MLB.com, that he could help in the bullpen right now. Will he do that coming off an injury? Probably not, but it doesn't mean he couldn't be there maybe at the end of next year. That was really the first injury Gage has gone through. He's never had a surgery on his arm, shoulder, elbow, or anything. So I don't know how much he'll throw again this year. Could be a little. He could get back up next year. They put him in high A, bring him along slowly, and then that fastball starts doing the work at the big show.
Last thing, because we'll wrap it up after this here.
Yep.
And we won't get these questions too much until maybe December or January. But I've coalesced around the idea here that, and it's because of what the transfer portal's like. We don't really get a chance to see a lot of the players that are going to start, and this is the same for the football team this year, until they're actually wearing the Razorback uniform and playing in a game. And that's when we'll start developing our opinions about them. So people ask me, how's the baseball team going to do? And I start with, is Dave Van Horn the coach? And I go from there. And I always, if he's the coach, they're going to be really good. Is that, you may have more of a critical eye because, I think you're coming more from the journalistic aspect than I am.
Yeah, and I still have that old school coach about me, and that still likes to look at things, because I'm the one that's going to be a realist about everything. But I'm like you. The consistency that the program has had is because of Dave Van Horn and the expectations and accountability that he holds his players to. That he starts bringing in portal guys that hold themselves accountable. So with that being said, you have to be strong up the middle. You know this, Phil, just as well as I do. If you're strong up the middle, you have a shot. So who do you return? You return Souza. Hopefully he's healthy. You return Cam Kojal. You return Ryder Helfrich. That's your infield. That's the middle. You got some pitchers on the mound with Gabe Gackle, and you got some other guys coming out of the pen. You got Cole Gibbler, who may be a projected starter. We don't know. Then you move to the outfield. Who patrols the big green ocean out there? Well, you're going to have a new guy, Micah Neu. From everything we've seen so far, he can do it out there. He's going to be a speedster that can possibly hit 14, 15 bombs this year for you. Is he going to hit 300? Remains to be seen. So, strong up the middle, then you fill in the pieces around him. You got Damien Ruiz, who was Southland hitter of the year. He hit 388. Power wasn't there, but there's a lot to unlock right there. So, you got him at one side. You got Kuhio Aloy returning. He's going to be a guy that can play an outfield spot. Then you got Zach Stewart, who comes from Missouri State, number 7 all-time in home runs at Missouri State, which is a well-known mid-major program. So you have pieces. Are they going to be top 5 again? Every Omaha 8 projection I've seen has Arkansas outside of it. But as we know just as well, this coaching staff, once they get their hands on some of these guys that are a little raw, they turn them into something else. Look at Logan Maxwell. Look at Cam Kojal this year. Yeah. He had an outstanding year. He's all SEC. Look at Charles Davalon. He was not a first-round pick coming into the year. Now he is. So I tend to lean toward your philosophy on it. Look at Dave Van Horn, what he's done with some of these guys. The pieces are going to be there. How they fit determines how far they go.
Hey, if you can do it in 15 seconds, Joey Volchko, transfer out of Stanford, Arkansas, or LSU?
I'm leaning Arkansas right now. They keep holding the spot open for him. I think the Hogs get him.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your sports betting action. And with baseball in full swing and football season right around the corner, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting. From MLB, UFC to tennis and NFL futures, BetOnline remains your choice for sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Head to the website today and take advantage of their industry-leading VIP program with level-up bonuses and weekly cash boosts. BetOnline. The game starts here.